Okay, welcome to our last video on decorators. Hopefully with all the work we've done up to this point, decorators won't seem as confusing as they might if we just hopped right into the topic. So I'm going to go back and pick up where we left off when we talked about first class objects, and I'm going to define a function, Pirates of Penzance, which accepts an actor as a parameter and then prints out actor and then was in the Pirates of Penzance. So, pretty simple function. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is, if I want to add functionality, I don't know why it's giving me poop about Pirates of Penzance, but anyways, if I want to add functionality to a function, then I can put it in what's known as a wrapper. A wrapper just wraps around the function, and you can put functionality before or after the function. So here's how this works. I have this outside function decorate, which accepts as a parameter function. And then it returns this wrapper function. And the wrapper then takes x and prints out, I would like to add some, so this particular wrapper prints out, I would like to add some functionality here, so you can put any functionality you want. It then takes this function and gives it the parameter x, executes the function, whatever function you pass in, and then afterwards you can add more functionality if you want. Alright, so let's see how this works. I am going to decorate, so I'm using this function, Pirates of Penzance. And not only that, so I'm passing Pirates of Penzance into decorate as my function. So this is going to return, decorate will return wrapper, which is this function that wraps my function up and then allows it to accept a parameter x. Not only am I decorating Pirates of Penzance, but I'm actually reassigning that decorator to Pirates of Penzance. I'm renaming Pirates of Penzance to this decorated version. Alright, so you know what, I'm going to put this line here, and we'll run this. And Pirates of Penzance, when we call Kevin Klein, says Kevin Klein was in the Pirates of Penzance. So this is this version of Pirates of Penzance. Then, when I decorate it, I get this returned wrapper function. So I'm actually now, when I call Pirates of Penzance, I'm calling this wrapper function, which prints, I would like to add some function, I could be adding some functionality here. Then calls this function, which is Pirates of Penzance, which prints out with x, this is x, Kevin Klein was in the Pirates of Penzance, and then prints out, and we can add more functionality afterwards. So you can take an existing function and add functionality to it by putting one of these wrappers around it, and then using this syntax. Okay, so what is a decorator? Well, I'm going to rewrite all of this work using a decorator. And the way we do that is decorate is exactly the same as it was before, but instead of having this line right here where whatever I just did, I did not want to do that. Oh, I think I just moved this. So, instead of having, and I removed a line up here, but we don't need it anymore. Instead of having this line, where I call decorate a Pirates of Penzance and reassign Pirates of Penzance to that, I put a decorator around Pirates of Penzance by using this pi symbol. Alright, so by putting this here, Python is going to call this decorator function and use it to reassign Pirates of Penzance like I did here. There's actually something called syntactic sugar, which means that the functionality of this is going to be the exact same functionality as this, but we have less of this kind of stuff. We just have this nice little tidy line here. So syntactically it looks a little bit nicer. Maybe it's sweeter to the palate, syntactic sugar, to get the same functionality. And when I run decorators 2, we get this wrapper was wrapped around Pirates of Penzance. I could be adding some functionality here. And Pirates of Penzance, the original, was called with Kevin Kline. Stupid thing in this error messages. And finally, we get the and even more functionality here afterwards. So this decorator is equivalent to saying I want to call this function decorate with Pirates of Penzance and reassign that to Pirates of Penzance. That's it. So if you understand how the namespace works and how functions are first-class objects, then all of this stuff should make sense, and then decorators are really just syntactic sugar for this. All right, let's look at an example that has a use. So I stole this from somebody. Stealing is always easier than coming up with stuff on your own, I suppose. In computer science, we don't mind it so much as in other disciplines. Importing time, importing random. And I'm running 2 functions here. One is Atom. Atom is going to start off with a list, and it's an empty list, and it's going to append a bunch of numbers to that list. Actually, it's going to append it's just going to append a bunch of numbers to that list. And then we are going to add those numbers up using a sum function. So we're going to sum all those numbers up. Okay. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to create a list of numbers. These are going to be a list of random numbers, and then we're going to sort them. So we have 2 functions, Atom and waste time. Waste time, again, creates a random list and then sorts it. And Atom creates a list and sums all the numbers in that list. Okay? Now, the thing is, you may have noticed that we have decorators around these functions, which means that when you're reading Python code, if you notice this decorator syntax, that means that we have added some functionality to these programs. So what have we added? Well, we have up here this timing function. The timing function then has a wrapper, and it computes a time to start, calls the function, gets the time right after the function is done executing, and then reports the difference. So basically, wrapper here in this case is going to compute how long it takes this function to execute, and then we'll print it out. And so this wrapper, we can wrap around these 2 functions easily just by putting on this decorator. And so when we call Atom and waste time, it's automatically going to have that timing function built in, and we'll run this, run decorators 3, and we'll notice that the times are reasonably similar. There's something else I did here. Notice that the range of numbers here is significantly larger than the range of numbers here. And let's see, this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. This has 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So this is 100 times as many numbers here as here. And yet, the sort took longer. So sorting is an expensive process. It's an interesting idea, since we're going to start looking at some sorting functions here pretty soon. But that's not really the important part. The important part was, look how easy it was to add this quick timing functionality to these 2 functions. I just had to put this decorator on here. And the other nice thing about decorators is that if I want to remove the functionality of the timing function, then all I have to do is comment this out, and the timing function is gone from Atom. I had to do a little bit more work here. I'm printing this none here, and what happened is I print Atom. Atom has a print in it, which it executes, but then I print the function Atom. That function doesn't return anything, so it prints out actually none. This print prints none. This print prints this. So I guess if I wanted to comment this out, I had a little more work to do. But that's decorators. That's it. It's a simple way to add functionality to an existing function. It might be an existing function you don't even have the code for. It could be off in some module or somewhere, and you just want to add something to it. Wrap it in a decorator.